Alright, I know it's been a long time, but I'm back. And today is Friday the 17th of July, aka the release date of the Odyssey, and I have just come back from watching it. So let's review it. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is an experience that I don't really have many words for. So I'm gonna try conjure up some words for this video. It is absolutely incredible. You know, when I first started getting into films and going to the cinema more often, your standout cinema experience is how I feel about the Odyssey, or my screening of the Odyssey today. I went by myself, so I didn't even go with anyone. Just a solo viewing at 11 a.m. mind you as well. I went at 11 a.m. so it finished at around 2:30. Yeah, around about 2:30. It's a very long movie, 3 hours, and it was just incredible. I had a really late night. I was kind of tired and it just woke me up completely. You know, it's one of those things where you realize how much you actually love cinema and films and movies when you watch something like this, especially in a cinema where the sound is blaring at you so loud, the image is massive, and you're seeing so many different aspects of the movie that you just instantly want to point out or talk about, and stuff that you're saying, oh, this is fantastic, this is so good. Like, the Odyssey is filmmaking at its finest, and the story itself is probably one of the best stories ever told. And with a director like Christopher Nolan, you've now made it one of the best stories ever shown and ever filmed. It really is just incredible from start to finish. One of the criticisms I heard was that the middle bit like drags on. So like the second third of the movie drags on and you really feel the length. I completely disagree. I'm not gonna lie. By the time it had finished, I was like, that was 3 hours gone like that. It it's a story that rarely ever slows down and gives you time to sort of process what's going on. And even when it does, it's incredibly essential to the plot and to the understanding of the story. This cast is obviously so many fantastic actors, but they've all been perfectly orchestrated and put into these roles that are just so well done. There was a lot of criticism, and I spoke about this on my TikTok. Go follow it if you haven't already. About Elliot Page and Lupita Nyong'o's castings, and Lupita Nyong'o in this was decent. I won't say she was amazing. I think she was okay. She was good. Um, Elliot Page, on the other hand, I think had an absolutely fantastic performance. You know, it was just one of those ones where like all the haters and all the doubters, like, I don't really like, you can't really say much else to that, because that performance genuinely did stand out as one of the best. It didn't have the most screen time, but it was incredibly important, the scenes that he did have. Obviously, the first thing that I did, or not the first, but one of the first things I done coming out of cinema was sort of compare it in my mind to other Nolan movies. And I've got a video coming out for that, so I'm not going to say it on camera. But there are so many positives to this movie. And like, I'm really trying to think of some negatives that are like not minor, teeny issues, but those are the only ones I have in my head right now. Like, I don't see anything that hinders the plot or slows down the story to where it gets like it drags on. Everything is just an outstanding positive for me. Like I said earlier, it really is just filmmaking at its finest. And I watched a podcast, the Escape Pod, if you know them. Most of it is superhero stuff, but they talked about the Odyssey, and one of them said that it was the best made movie of all time. And I actually agree with that point. Like, I think, again, from a filmmaking perspective, from a directorial perspective, it is fantastically crafted. It really is just a masterpiece in that sense. And one of my criticisms going into it was obviously the dialogue. You heard like Tom Holland in the trailers say like dad, and like I think Rob Pattinson said daddy. And obviously for something a bit more medieval, you would think you'd hear like father quite a lot. I really like going into it, I thought that was going to be an issue for me. It still kind of was, but I kind of went over it quite quickly. Like, after I heard it the first couple times, I was like, yeah, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It really is just incredible. Script writing is fantastic. I don't think the script is as ambitious as like something like Oppenheimer, for example. I do think the script is probably slightly worse than it. Worse sounds really bad, but no, it's still a fantastic script. But like, I will say it's not the best he's ever done. The performances were just so good. The score, the soundtrack was great. It was loud. It really immersed you in this sort of medieval setting and big fight scenes, and it was incredible. Just truly fantastic. If I had to shout out a couple people for their performances without saying why I'm actually shouting them out for, I think for me, my top three in no particular order are Anne Hathaway, Matt Damon, and John Leguizamo. Like, he had an absolutely fantastic movie and a performance. Sorry, if I had to put one person in this whole entire cast to win an award for acting, either as a lead actress, supporting actress, supporting actor, he would be my pick for sure. 100% for supporting actor. He was just incredible. Every single scene that he's in, he does steal the show. There were just so many good performances. There was no bad performances, which is something I'm really happy to say. I'm going to be honest, it is by far the best movie of the year so far, which is also another video coming out soon, but I guess I've already spoiled number one. If you haven't seen it, or maybe you've got tickets to see it either in IMAX or, you know, just a normal cinema screening, you have to go see it. If you weren't planning on seeing it or waiting for it to hit like your streaming services or whatever, please take some time out of your week to go to a cinema and go see this. It is incredible. It genuinely won't let you down, and it's just a masterpiece. It really is just a masterpiece. I gave the Odyssey a 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd, 5 stars completely. It really is just that good. And yeah, hope you guys catch it. Peace.